Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashleigh Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, Badass Manifester. Today, I am so excited because I have an amazing interview lined up for you, and there's a little surprise in this interview. So I am interviewing a past QCA student, an alumni of the program. Her name's Ashleigh Weule, and she is a coach that works with moms from all over the world to reclaim their desire so that they can experience more pleasure and happiness in every area of life. And not only that, she is working in schools, working with children to help them remember who the fuck they are. And this conversation is so powerful because she talks about doing the scary things. She talks about following your dreams. And in this episode, I actually get to coach her around what her next level looks like and breaking through the fear of visibility and the fear of rejection and the fear of ultimately being alone. And if you ever wanted a little sneak peek, like behind the scenes of a coaching call, this is going to be a little sneak peek for you, just to get a little taste of something you could learn inside of the Quantum Coaching Academy. So if you have any of those fears of putting yourself out there, caring what other people will think about you and all of that, this episode is just going to speak to your heart and soul. And she is just such a prime example of what happens when you go all in on yourself, when you invest in yourself, when you invest in what you are creating, when you step into your calling fully and completely, the magic happens. She is building a six-figure business. She is having consistent five-figure months. She just had the biggest cash month she ever had in her business. And it's all because she decided every single day through everything to take the leap, to do the thing that most people in the world won't do, to do the thing that maybe you're afraid to do. So this episode is just going to inspire you to your core at how brave and courageous Ashleigh is. Not to mention, she's all the way in Australia. So we're recording this interview. It's like midnight at her time. I just respect the shit out of her. I adore her. And I am so excited for the business she's creating, the impact she's having. And she's just a prime example of what the fuck is possible. And with that, I just want to remind you as you're listening, the Quantum Coaching Academy applications are closing. The doors are technically closing today. Today is the last day to get your application in for our July cohort. So if you had that nudge, if you are inspired by this episode, make sure that you put in your application, book your call with my team, and we will be anxiously awaiting to talk to you. Without further ado, enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Badass Manifester podcast, Ashleigh.
Thank you for having me, Ashleigh. How nice is it? We've got two Ashleighs.
I think we have two Ashleighs going on. Like, it is going to be a magical day. Let's be real.
It's definitely going to be magical.
Yes. I just want to say thank you for being here because I know it's 12:40 a.m. in Australia right now.
Yeah. I'm excited to be on here. And I think like time is only limited to what we choose it to be.
I like that.
So yeah, I'm excited to be here and share my journey with you all.
I'm so excited too. And I just have to say, this cup that I have right now, have you seen those cups that are like, they keep your coffee hot? Like they have there's like a button on the bottom of this. And I have to say, it's a mom must have. Like my coffee's been, it's like, you can't see it, but it's still steaming. And it's like
that is amazing.
At the bottom, you know, that last sip is like always so cold. I have to just say that because Ashleigh gets mom life to like more than I even get mom life because you are a mom of four amazing girls, right?
Yeah, 4 girls.
I remember I think our application call, you told me that for QCA.
Yeah. So I have 4 girls. They're from the ages of 11 right down to 5. So
Oh,
they're close together.
I
It
love that.
is crazy chaotic, but it's beautiful all at the same time.
Oh my goodness. So you're a mom of four, just in this chaotic, lovely land of mom life, and you're an entrepreneur. You are a QCA graduate and you have a coaching business. And I know there's so many people out there right now listening who are maybe in the same position. We've had so many moms come through QCA that have one, two, three, 4 children or more, and they make it work and they make it happen. And I admire that so much about you, that you are so dedicated to your purpose and your mission in life, but also to being an amazing mama.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for acknowledging that. I think it's just being a mum, you give a mum anything, a job to do, and they just find a way to do it. If they're really passionate about it and they really want to do it, they can just go in and they can get it done more than an average person. Like when you think back to before you had your baby, like you sort of go, what was I ever doing with my time? I'm so
Seriously,
much
I'm
more
like,
efficient now.
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I still feel like I'm trying to find the perfect balance, which doesn't really exist. But yeah, it's so wild to think back. So will you share with us, where were you before you even found QCA? And then when you found it, and what made you say, I got to do this, I want to do this, and like take the leap because you knew it was going to help you create the business that you really desired?
Yeah, I think it all began. I started in a previous business while I had my kids growing up and having babies and breastfeeding. And then I had this sudden urge to completely burn it down
Wow.
and start something new. And that was
What
in
was
the
your business?
arena. I was in network marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, which gave me so many fundamentals that I still look back on, I still use, that helped me to public speak. It helped me to market myself, share myself on social media. There's so much that I got from that. And I still use all of the products through that network marketing company. Love and adore it, but it just wasn't for me anymore. There was no passion. And I had always wanted to help people, in particular women. So I started a Instagram page of just sharing inspiration.
Love it.
And it was mainly just to help one woman out there, one mum, to be able to feel better and to know that there's other things out there. So then
Mhm.
that trickled into retreats.
Love it.
So
Yeah.
everything was just very divinely led. I had no idea what I was doing. Built my first website on Google pretty much and YouTube. Built all of the back end from my retreat within about 6 weeks. Had no idea how to run a retreat, nothing like that, and just went from there. It was a wildly successful retreat. Everyone who went to that retreat still loves it, still talks about it and how life-changing it is for them. Then I started to get into one-on-one coaching, and I had learned about intuitive coaching before that. So that was purely for my own benefit. So then I started utilizing that in one-on-one coaching. But I think for me, I always felt like there was a missing piece. Like I felt like I was missing structure and confidence in my coaching, and confidence knowing that I could coach anyone on anything. I sort of
Mhm.
felt like if it was outside of what I'd done for myself, I'd have no idea how to coach anyone. And I don't even know how it happened, but I come across the podcast feed that you had talking about QCA, and I binged it within a day.
Wow.
Like I was driving my kids to and from like childcare, and I was walking and I was listening, and I was just like, oh my God, what even is this?
That's awesome. For those
Yeah.
for those of you listening, we have another podcast that's all about becoming the best coach, and it's called Become the Best Coach Podcast. We'll link it in the show notes so you can refer to what Ashley's speaking to.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was exactly like, it was like, oh my God, this is like the missing piece that and I have no idea how I found it. Like, cannot even
I mean,
remember.
probably like the magical Instagram, Facebook ad fairy
Yeah,
dropped it into
I,
your awareness.
I would say so.
I'm so
I would
glad
say
that that
so.
happened. So you listened to
Yeah.
it and you took action. you applied?
Yeah, it took me a while
Okay.
I sort of sat on the fence for a while. I was like, am I going to do this? And because I'm an Aussie
Yeah.
and the program is in America, I was like, how am I going to do this? And the conversion of the money side of things, I was like, oh my God, like it's
Version
not
of
the
time and money, really.
time and money. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
then I thought I just got on, put my application in. I think you got back to me like very, very quickly. Then we got on a call with you. And when I met you, I was like, oh, this is real. Like,
This is real.
this is real. And I think it just had all the missing pieces. Like, I really wanted to get certified in EFT and Reiki and then hypnosis. I was like, oh my God, like it just had so much in it in the certification that I was like, I'd be so stupid not to do this. You know what I mean?
Yes. 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 And like,
Yeah.
I respect that you say, like, okay, I was sitting on it for a minute because it is a huge decision. It's a huge
Hmm.
decision to make. But at the end of the day, I'm just curious, like, what was the turning point for you to be like, no, I am putting in my application? Because what I feel like for you, you knew that once you applied, you were going to move forward. So
Yeah.
what was that turning point for you that was like, no, I have to do this? Was there like a sign? Was there a moment? Was there something specific? I'm just curious.
I can't think if it was anything specific. It was more the thinking of like, what if I didn't do it?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what if I didn't do it? What am I missing out on?
Hmm.
And I'm sort of one of those people, if I'm like, when I go in, I go all in.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to do something, I want to do it like 110%. Like, I'm not going to half-ass anything. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to go right in. And I think when I started to think about it, and I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to get 6 months down the track. I'm still going to see all of your posts coming up, and I'm going to be like, what? I
Why
could have
didn't I do that?
been here. I could have had that certification within 6 months and be done.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it was really like FOMO, fear of missing out. I was like, I can't not do this.
But also with that, I think about like you knew your vision, you knew where
Yeah.
you wanted to go. And that's what I tell people all the time that are like, maybe I should wait. I'm like, listen, you can totally wait. And what is your vision for the next 6 months? Like, where do you actually
Yeah.
see yourself in your business and the impact that you're making? Are you working with people? Are you feeling confident in your working with people? And what do you truly see for the next 6 months to a year? And where does this fit in? You know what I mean? What do you need to get there?
Yeah.
Because that's
You're
also what I'm hearing from you and in between the lines.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like, okay, like my vision and what I want to create, that was a gap. That was a gap. And I knew that eventually I'd have to fill it. So why wait? I was like, I need to fill the gap now. Like,
Right.
and shorten my timeline of my vision coming to life. And I was like, well, if I don't learn these skills, it's going to be a lot harder, a lot longer for me to get there. So why not just jump into it now and figure it out later?
So good. I love that mentality. I'm curious, what is your human design?
I am a generator.
Yeah. Are you a three, like, what's your numbers?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Are you a
Yeah.
sacral authority or an emotional
Yes.
authority? Okay. So
Sacral.
sacral authorities are like in the moment, they feel it. It's like a yes or a no, and you're supposed to follow that. That's what I am too. Generator, sacral
Yeah.
authority. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm loving this. So when you learned about the time commitment for the program and like that it was going to be minimum 4 to 6 hours a week, knowing that you're a mom and knowing that you're across the world, how did you make that work?
Yeah. So with that, that was probably one of the biggest things that I really had to commit to. And I think because I invested the money into it, I was like, okay, this is serious. This is like, we're going all in. And I had to get my hubby to take a morning off work. And
Mm,
anyone who knows my hubby is like, he's such a workaholic. And he was like, but as soon as I asked him, he was like, yep, I'll do it. So he had to take a Friday off, the Friday morning off work in order for me to do this
wow.
and jump on our calls. I was like staying up a lot later to get the pre-study done.
Yep.
And when we had our intensive days, I was quite often getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning
Yes.
and
We're
staying
so
up and
committed.
yeah, and
So committed. Oh,
doing the intensive, and I still remember doing the hypno intensive days and the NLP. and just being so like dazed out and so hypnotized by the language and half going to sleep. And I'm like, oh my God,
Wake up.
like, I gotta wake up. But that was the commitment. So then I would like, my kids would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'd been up since 1:30. And then I would have to spend all day doing my normal day
Day.
life and also seeing clients as well. I had one-on-one clients still, and then doing the like the peer mentoring, fitting
Yeah.
that in. The time difference was a little bit of a juggle sometimes, but it was generally late at night, early morning, and
Yep.
just being like, I'm doing this.
Wow. I'm so inspired by this. And it sounds like we have the same husband. What is your,
Yeah.
what does your husband do?
He is a truck driver at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's a
So
workaholic.
yes, yeah, he's amazing. And I'm so grateful for him because if I didn't have him doing it and
Yes.
taking that time off, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And to have
Ah,
even him not even second guess what I was doing, he was just like, okay, yep, right, let's go with it.
it's
I
so
think
interesting because
credit to him too.
that's like, that is such a credit to him and to the support that you have and to the belief that he has in you and the trust that he has in you. And I I talk about this a lot because this is like a quote objection that comes up is like, oh, I have to chat with my partner. And I totally get that of like making a big decision and a commitment monetarily and time wise. And I always tell people like it's not about getting permission from your partner. It's about enrolling them into the vision and into like how this is going to benefit your life together. You know what I mean? And it sounds like he totally gets that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's not about, I never asked him for permission to do
No.
this. I was like, I'm doing this. Like
Yeah.
I'm always, but I think we're in that beautiful dynamic where if he has a dream, I'm like, okay, let's do it. And if I've got
Yeah.
one, he's like, okay, let's do it. And we are very different. Like I love the woo woo and I love all of this kind of stuff, and he doesn't get it at all. But he's like, okay, you do you, go do it. I'll support you. Let's make it
Yeah.
work. Let's rally. And I'm
That's
the same with
amazing.
him.
So
Yeah.
good. I also think it's so cool that the calls in Australia were actually like morning time for you on Friday. So our calls are Thursday evenings in the States, and then Friday morning it was for you. So that kind of is interesting how it shows up in your morning, which is like totally opposite of when we host the calls, but I love that. And then, of course, the intensives were like all day and all night. And a lot of times people in Australia, they don't come to the intensives because they can watch the recordings at, a time that works for them. But I just love and admire you for how you did it. I mean, I'm like, you had four babies staying up all night, no big deal. This is just this was like your other baby at the time. It needed to be
Yeah.
said.
It definitely was. It definitely was. And there were times that I had my calls and the girls were sitting with me. Like they were on
Oh,
the screen sometimes
yeah.
and they were sometimes on the peer things, like not like involving it, but they were sitting next to me watching. And I think that
Yeah.
was really powerful too, because it was like, okay, I want to do this. I've got to put my time and my commitment and my effort into it to reap the rewards, like what I want to get at the end of the day. I need to put in the time and the effort and the study to do this. And I think that's a beautiful thing for them to see
Oh
because they're
my
like,
goodness.
you
Yeah.
can't just get things. Like you've got to put your energy, you've got to take action, you've got to do these things in order to create the results that you want.
It's such a good teaching and learning for them. And like watching you put in the time, put in the effort, and build this business, creating something out of nothing. I think that is like one of the most beautiful things that your kids can see and witness their parents
Yeah.
doing because it really shows them what's possible for themselves. They can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the teaching inside QCA I use in parenting, like the
Mm,
reframes and like just the validation and listening to the kids and
yes.
holding space. That was one of my biggest things from QCA was just learning how to hold space for someone and just sit there and listen
I
without
love
fixing
that.
anything.
Oh, I love that so much. It's such a skill. And when I read that on our feedback forms, when our students say like they really learned how to hold space, I think that some people can listen to that and be like, "Oh, hold space. Like I know how to do that or whatever." But it's actually such an art and such a craft and it takes a lot of skill. It does. It takes a lot of skill to hold space. It really, truly does. And to wipe yourself clean of all of your own triggers, of all of your own filters, of all of your opinions and all of your thoughts and what you think is best, to say, actually, I'm going to put all of that to the side and just be with you. It's a lot of work that goes into it.
It's very, very hard to do on the other end too when you've never experienced it. Well, never really experienced it, but in our peer coaching, I had my peer mentor and she was amazing at doing this. And it was so wildly uncomfortable for me when she would go silent and I'd be
Yes.
like, what are you doing? Like, talk. And I'd say to her, are you going to say something else? And she's like, no, I'm just listening. And I'm like, oh my God. But by the end of our coaching together, I was like, oh, that is the most delicious thing you could ever give me right now.
Yes. It's just spaciousness.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love
It's so
that so much.
good.
So good. So tell us a little bit about your business right now. Like what have you created since QCA, and how has learning all these skills and tools and processes like transformed your business? Because I know you have some amazing things happening.
Yeah. It's just like completely transformed my business. In my self-confidence has been the most amazing thing, just to back myself. A lot of the stuff I already knew,
Yeah.
but it was just that building that strong backbone in what I was doing and what I was saying to people. And like I said, knowing I could coach anyone on anything,
Mm.
regardless of what comes up, I think is just, it's pretty potent because a
It's a
lot of people can't do
superpower.
it. It is a superpower.
Yeah.
It is such a really, like, it's so amazing to be able to do that. And I know that when I step into a coaching session, no matter what, I've got them. Like,
Mhm.
I've got them, I've got their back, and we can do anything. And now in my business, I do a lot of one-on-one coaching. I've launched multiple group programs. I'm launching a massive big collective right now. So we're halfway through the live recording, and it is
Wow.
exclusive to mums. And it's not a parenting program, it's a mum program. It's a woman program in order to teach them how to support themselves. And basically everything that I've used in my 12 years as a mum, just opening up my vault, opening up all of my tips and tricks and utilizing EFT and hypnosis, and so unreal. Like, it's just massive. And I couldn't have been ever been able to do that if I didn't have the confidence in my coaching to do that and to lean on QCA stuff that we'd learned. Like, the group coaching inside of QCA was just
Mm.
unreal. I do one-on-one coaching. I'm actually working with another lady and we go into schools, which is really, really powerful, which I'm not quite sure if you
What?
know this.
I
Yeah.
did see that on your form. You said that you are like going into local schools teaching about mindfulness to the
Yeah.
students and to the teachers.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started off with the staff and the teaching staff. And then it's branched into kids, and we've branched it right out into our wider community, so into other
Right.
towns. So we're teaching kids like emotional regulation, even emotional understanding. And it's like the bare minimum basics. And they're like, wow, wow, wow,
Blown
wow.
away.
And
Okay.
we're
I'm just
actually
having a moment.
creating,
Yeah, keep going,
yeah.
keep going.
We're actually creating a program at the moment for a particular, like the tween age,
Mm.
in order how to like navigate like social situations, friendships, the inner critic and all of that. So we're in the process of organizing that now and launching it out. And it's going gangbusters. It's crazy.
OMG. I'm freaking out because the impact that you're spreading to all these children and this staff and all these schools is like, it's absolutely blowing my mind right now. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, it is
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, it's so, and it's, I think like as adults, we're doing a lot of like reprogramming. Whereas when you go into the kids, you're like, oh, this is like this juicy sponge age
Yes.
where we can really teach them this stuff and from the get-go so that they can lean on it forever.
Forever. Yeah.
It's
Wow.
so
Wow.
powerful.
It's so powerful. It's always been a dream of mine to like have a school a school where kids are taught that they're the creator of their life, where they're taught that they have these emotions that are guiding them and this intuition that is guiding them. And like, it's such a big dream. And I don't know if I can do it. But the fact that you're saying this is like, actually, maybe you don't have to have a school because there could be teachers like Ashley going into places teaching them exactly that, right? Like you're making an impact doing exactly what you're doing. The mindfulness and the emotional regulation is just huge. It's huge, huge, huge work. Wow, I'm so proud of you. It's fucking amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it is so amazing. It's so fulfilling. And it's even more fulfilling because I'm in a small town,
Yeah,
like where I live. I think there's like 2,000 people, and we are branching out into like towns that have 10,000, 20,000 people. And then we're looking at the statewide too, which is a greater influence on that. But even just like the parents that come up to you and are like, did you go to the school yesterday? Because my child come home and they're like talking about this and they said, oh yeah, Ash and Jade did this. And we're like, oh wow, like this is really cool impact that the kids are going home and sharing with their parents. And I actually think too, on that note, with the school and having a school, like anything is possible. But I think it's
sure.
so nice because the kids, when you're listening, it's like a child and a mum. They're
Yeah.
not going to listen to their mum as
Right.
much as they do an outsider. But when we go into a school, they're like, they're they're on. They're like, oh, someone's news here. They're teaching us something
They want to
new.
hear
Like it,
it.
they want to
Yeah.
hear it because it's not somebody that they're seeing every single day. So their mind's going, oh, what are they doing here?
Right.
They've got
Oh my,
something to say, which is really cool.
that's so amazing. I'm curious for you, like, how does it feel to know that you are like you are stepping into this leadership role, like like seeing your vision come to life? How does that feel for you?
Oh, it's like tear jerking,
Yeah.
really. Like it's powerful stuff. And I still know that I've got so much to learn, especially having four daughters that are wildly different. And sometimes you do things and you're like, I don't know whether I did the right thing here, or like
Sure.
you're constantly second guessing yourself as a mum.
Yes.
But then when you go in and you influence so many different kids and they take these little golden nuggets of information and you know what's going to change their life, you're just like, it's like so much bigger.
Yes.
Like no words could ever put into it. It's just like you go to bed and you're just like, oh, I really did change someone's world today. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. A little person's world.
What did you actually have to let go of within yourself before you embarked on this journey and like during the journey, what have you really had to let go of to be able to step into your light in this way and your power in this way and your leadership in this way and your coaching in this way?
I think I had to, in particular with the kids, I really had to let go of like not being seen, like and hiding. And I would say that's probably the same as my business as a whole. Of like a really, I know no life coaches around me in Australia. Like they're starting to pop up more. But when I started QCA or when I started my Instagram page, there was no life coaches. And in particular, no life coaches that were making a living or
Yeah.
having wildly successful businesses. And I always wanted, I've got my big vision, this is what I want, but I couldn't see it happening with life coaching. So I really had to sort of start stepping out of my comfort zone, allowing myself to be seen and
Mm,
step out of hiding, which was really, really, and it's still something that I'm still trickling out. Um, but, and just blazing a trail pretty much.
yeah.
Just being like,
Yeah.
and leaning on people like you and Jenna and other people that are doing it in a wildly successful way and being like, I can do it. Like I can
You
do
can do
it.
it.
And just because I
Totally.
don't have them in my physical proximity doesn't mean that I can't like not attach myself to your energy, but just be like, well, Ashley can do it. Ashley
Yeah.
created the QCA
Right.
program from nothing.
Yes.
I
It's
can do
tapping into
this.
that resource, tapping into the resource that it
Hmm.
can be done. That's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah. And then for the school stuff, like the other person that I'm working with, she's so outgoing and can talk to anyone and just so amazing. She's got all of the contacts, like she can talk to anyone, whereas I'm a little bit more reserved and I'm a little bit more like, I'll come in here and I'll do all of my magic, but can someone get us in there first?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and she does all of that, which I think we work in unison really beautifully with that. But she's teaching me to be like, get out there, like, come on, let's
Right.
go.
Ask for it,
And
reach out for it.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's just like stepping out and being like, yeah, I've got this, which I know I've got this, but I do it in a more, I wouldn't say humble way, but a more introverted way, a very,
Yeah. Yeah. A softer,
very,
softer
yeah,
approach,
yeah, yeah.
which I think is beautiful, but it sounds like you're really pushing your edges. Like you're really
Mhm.
pushing your edges to allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, to be like, here I am, baby. Here I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm constantly edging out of my comfort zone.
I think that that's a huge thing for people, especially for me on my journey. That was a huge piece of it, is just allowing myself to be seen. And I had a reading once from an astrologer, and she's like, your success is directly tied to you allowing yourself to be seen. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta keep showing up. Gotta keep showing
Totally
up.
real.
For your coaching clients, how are you getting clients? Are you like, I'm just curious, are they coming from social media or word of mouth, in person? Where are they coming from?
A bit of both.
Okay.
A bit of both, which I mainly wanted my business to be online.
Yeah.
Because being at home, I didn't want anyone in my home. I also didn't want a physical space that I was paying rent on. I wanted to be able to do things on Zoom. I wanted to be able to record things. But I have a lot of people that come to me locally as well.
Mm,
So it's like that mix, and it's sort of something that I've had to
love it.
navigate. I've had some people come to my house, and then I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. My house is sacred, it's private.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I've found a room and I'm like, okay, I can do some there. But I really love the dynamics of the Zoom, but I also like in person. So
I
I feel like
know.
there's nothing better than sitting in front of someone, and it's just so
Feeling their
beautiful.
energy. I do like when I used to work in person, or like people locally, I still would meet with them on Zoom,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because it's easier. Even though there was times where I had an office space and they would be like, "Do you want to meet at the office?" I'm like, "No, let's just meet on Zoom."
Yeah, yeah. And it's more effective for me too. Like if my husband's away a lot
Yes.
and he's
Yes.
working a lot, so it's a lot more effective for me to do it from home.
Totally.
Um, and yeah, I just feel like at this time of my life, it's like, okay, I'm just sinking into the online space.
Love that. I love that. There's so
Yeah.
much possibility. I'm curious, how how quickly did you get back your investment that you made in QCA?
I would say so the QCA went for like 6 months and then another 6 months of like tying up everything and getting all of the certifications. So I would say about a year.
Love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe even quicker.
Yeah. And how did
Yeah.
that feel for you to like know that you made that back in that time?
It just felt very effortless.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things as well too is I put my QCA on a payment plan. So
Hmm.
I didn't pay it in full, which a lot of the other girls that I spoke to paid it in full. And I was like, well, I couldn't actually do that. I had to do it in payment plan and stuff like that. And that was also like a coaching moment for me to be a, yeah, like that was a
Yeah.
belief of mine.
Yeah.
But over time, when I look back, like even now, like I've doubled it, even tripled
Mhm.
it. And I'm like, okay, well,
Hell
it'll
yeah.
always pay in dividends. Like I always look back at it. Even little things like inside the portal, like the templates and the email way to do emails. And I still go back in there and I'm still like, okay, what can I learn here? Like what
Yeah.
can,
There's
and
so much in there. So much.
yeah,
Like, wait, is there
yeah.
too much in there? Because I want you all to like
No, I
use
love
it.
it.
Okay,
I
good.
love it. I
I'm
love
so
it.
glad.
And I really want to go back and do the intensives of the NLP and the hypnosis and
Yes.
re-listen to it because I'm like, oh, now I'm like, you sort of start stacking all your skills and you start
Yep.
to like master them and then you go, oh, I want to go back and learn this, but I want to learn it. Like I want to soak
Yes.
it all in. And because it was so early in the morning, I wasn't doing
I
it. So I'm like, oh, that's where I'm going next.
a lot of our students have said, even in this past cohort, like, I want to relearn everything as this new version of myself. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's really what it is. It's like you're a completely different version than you were when you went through QCA. And so things are going to land differently. They're going to hit you differently. They're going to resonate deeper. Everything is just going to deepen when you go back through the content. So yeah, feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely going to do that.
So tell me a little bit about what is your big vision coming up? Like where are you headed right now?
My big vision is to hit the six figures,
Yes.
which is very, very exciting. I have been creeping up that way for the last couple of months, which is so exciting. Very, very close to hitting the monthly target,
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
which
So
is
you're
a
having
huge,
five-figure months.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, so it's really, really cool. I'm starting to feel the momentum happening, which is amazing. So it's like, I think the consistency of the 5-figure month, then yeah, it's flowing in and actually seeing it as like a yearly total of being like, oh yeah,
Oh
cool.
my goodness. I'm
Yeah.
celebrating you. That's so
Thank
amazing. It
you.
feels so good to get paid for your work. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like this
Absolutely.
added layer of like, I'm doing it. The momentum piece that you're just speaking to, like that momentum is everything. And like keep building on that momentum and building on that momentum is like so key.
Yeah, and feeling really regulated. Like when I had my biggest month last month, and
Wow.
I just spent so much time like celebrating it, regulating my nervous system and being like, oh, this is my new normal. Like this is amazing. Like this is like just a blip on the full scale thing. Like this is going to be like a day at one
Yes.
point. Like it's
Oh,
so, so cool.
I think that you just nailed it. For a lot of people, I think it's about regulating your nervous system to the level of success that you're creating and the level of success you will continue to create and want to create. So, can you speak a little bit more about like that specifically, how to regulate your nervous system? I love the celebration piece. Was there anything else that you did to really regulate to it?
I've really been moving into somatics as
Hmm.
well. So like just putting some music on and just dancing. And
Yes.
I've seen that you're into the dancing now
So into
too, which
it.
is so
Yes.
cool. So cool. And like I felt so awkward doing it. I'm a dancer from way back, but when I like as a
Dancing is so
mom,
hard.
I'm like older, I'm like, oh, this is so cringy. But I would just put my earphones in and just dance in the dark. And I was just like, put on a song or a playlist that was really representation of like my next level and stepping in and the momentum building in the song and just like moving my body, breathing,
Mm.
just like really soaking into that. And then also being like, okay, future self pacing it as well of like, okay, as becomes my new normal, what am I actually doing with this? Like,
Mhm.
where am I resourcing back into my business? Where am I resourcing back into my family? Where am I resourcing back into me and being like, oh, yeah, this is new.
Yes, that is so beautiful. I love that. I love that you danced in the dark and just like welcomed that energy into your body. I feel like
Hmm.
that's the key is taking the energy of the money that you're creating and the impact that you're having and literally putting it in your physical body. It
Hmm.
so your body can say, "Oh yeah, this is safe. This is normal. This is good. This is why I'm here. This is what my purpose is. This is exactly what I should be doing. And this is how I should be feeling." And like putting it in your physical body is so key.
Yeah, absolutely. And doing a lot of anchoring too, like not actually
Yes.
on the hands, which is
Yeah,
something that you teach in QCA is the anchoring, but anchoring into songs and music and
totally.
candles and all of these things. So I can be like, all right, whenever I need a bit of like oof, a bit of like inspiration, I can light a candle, I can put that song on and I can be like, oh, I remember that. I remember that feeling and I'm tapping back into it.
Oh, love that so much. It's so true. You can anchor into so many things. I feel like I do that all the time. And I like it's such a natural process for me now that I don't even think it's a process, where I'm like, oh, wait, actually, this is something that is actually quite powerful. That's just one of my little manifestation hacks that I don't even
Yeah.
realize. I
So
love that.
powerful.
So
So
good.
powerful.
So good. So I would love to know, what is is there anything that's like feels like that's in the way for you in this time space reality?
Yeah. I think like having my voice loud and proud as a
Oh
life
yeah.
coach and owning my space in social media and just being like, this is who I am, see me raw. Like that is
Oh
where I'm at right
yes.
now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, could we do a little tiny bit of coaching, like a few minutes?
Let's go.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit more about what that would be like to break through, really to own your space as a life coach.
Yeah. I think like to put it really bluntly and really honestly, just being like, I don't give two fucks what anyone else thinks of me.
Boom.
Like I'm such a swearer and I'm like, oh, just rein it in a little bit. But yeah.
No, no, swear it out, girl. Swear it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to say that?
It feels daunting, but
Hmm.
it also is like freeing. It's just like sort of like breaking down of the walls of just being like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Mm. So on a scale of 1 to 10, one
Mhm.
being like, I still care, 10 being, I don't give a fuck, where do you feel like you fall on that scale right now? Like in this
Right.
moment?
Like a two, I would say.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone listening, scaling questions are really great because they can really help you gauge where your client is at in breaking through something. So, okay, so you still care what people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's this other part of you that's like, actually, I don't give a fuck. And I feel like you probably ping pong between the two quite often. Like, part of you is like, oh, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't post that. But the other part's like, no, I don't give a fuck.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. So we also could do a parts integration, which we probably won't do now, but you could do this on your own because you're a quantum coach.
Yeah.
But so there's conflicting parts. And so in QCA, we have a tool called parts integration that we help our students like really learn how to help their clients integrate parts. So you want to listen for that as a coach. And so, okay, so the part of you that cares what other people think, um, what what does she care about?
Fitting in.
Okay, yeah, fitting in. So
Yeah.
you want to fit in because if you don't fit in, then what happens?
I'm all alone.
Oh, you're all alone. You're never alone in a house of five, six.
Never alone.
Oh, you're all alone. Okay, yeah. So there's that little girl inside that doesn't want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And she's so sweet. And that's so understandable. It makes perfect sense. You wouldn't want to be alone because if you're alone, then what happens? What do you feel is scary about being alone?
What else is there? If you're alone
Mm.
and you're scared, what else is there?
So the part of you that wants to own it is also partly scared to be alone because if you are rejected by the world or by what people think, then you will be alone. And then what's the point of being alone? So you might as well just fit in and conform because if you don't, then you might end up scared and alone.
I see where you're going with this.
Where am I going? What are you seeing? What are you seeing in yourself?
Yeah, that both places have the end result of feeling like scared and alone.
But do they? Because the part of you that knows that it's safe to not give a fuck
Hmm.
and to own your space and to claim your space, what is the highest intention of that?
To create that massive impact,
Hmm.
to be able to help women to feel good, to feel
Yeah.
supported, and to own their own space, really, in their
Mhm.
homes and in their jobs and their careers.
Which one of those, like to help women in their careers and in their past by like claiming it and showing the world what's possible and speaking up about that? versus not speaking up about it? What feels more in alignment?
The first one, definitely.
Okay. So like actually doing the thing.
Yeah, actually doing it.
Is it worth doing it at the risk of potentially being alone?
It's
Because
great to
that's what you're
know.
doing. Because you're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
You're already doing it, but there's more to unleash. So it's like you've gotten here and now you're realizing, but wait, there's more. There's more of me to embody and to express out into the world. And so it's like you've stopped the hiding in some areas, and in some areas you're still holding back. And so I'm curious, what will be the thing that the catalyst for you to like really just say fuck it?
I feel like I'm nearly there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even the last couple of days, I'm like, I think just so much desire and the vision being so big and
Yeah.
the desire for more. I'm just like, it's just like burning, really. It's like burning and it just has to come out. Like,
It has to. It is coming out
mm,
because if as you
yeah.
look back too, like you look back over the last couple years and the impact that you've been able to make in that time by coming out
Hmm.
over and over again and choosing to own it over and over again every day in small ways, every little post you make, every story you make, everything that you do, stepping into the schools, talking to the administrators, talking to the students, the kids, every little thing you do. Like when you look back at your journey of like letting go of giving a fuck,
Hmm.
look at the impact that you've had.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm already doing it.
You're already doing it. And will there be trolls on the internet? Will there be people that are like, what is Ashley doing? What is a life coach? I don't know what that is. I don't vibe with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But are you alone right now, or are you like surrounded by fucking epic people that you want to be surrounded by?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of both.
Okay. So when you say a bit of both, like the people that like the part of you that still feels alone, what is that? How is that showing up?
I think in the online space, I can really like surround myself with the people that I want to be around. And it's the physical space that I'm like, oh, I need to draw more of my like soul system, my tribes in, and to be able to go, oh, yes, which is coming. It's slowly trickling in, but I'm like, hurry it up. Come on.
Okay, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. I feel like that is that connected to like you not giving a fuck, or is that something totally different?
No, I would say it's a bit different.
It is a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in regards to you feeling alone, because you were saying you felt alone when you
Hmm.
like your fear is to be alone if you were to
Yes.
like go all in and like put yourself out there.
Hmm.
And since you've been doing that and you look back, do you still feel alone?
Yes, I do.
You do still feel alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it scary?
Yes.
Okay. And how is that serving you in moving forward, if it is?
It's blocking me from edging further out.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with everything that you've created over the last couple of years and like the impact that you have had, you still looking back on that, you still feel like you're alone and it's edging you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What does your higher self have to say about that?
Hello. Never alone.
Oh.
And like you said, I'm never alone. I've got 6 people in my house.
So as you're, you said this earlier too, and it really stuck with me, like you're a trailblazer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes trailblazing is lonely,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that you're alone
Yeah.
because there's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
Between being alone and feeling lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So kind of reflecting on this, knowing all of this, what is what is the thing that will get you from a 2 to a 5 and not giving a fuck arena?
My first instinct is like, I'm not even at a 2 anymore. I'm already at a 5.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, what? I'm already there. Like, that's the first thing that's popping up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is cool. Cool.
So what is the one thing that you have been wanting to say that you haven't said that you will say out into the world to declare your not giving a fuckness?
Oh. Um, I think it would be around like it takes a lot of courageousness and a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of like boldness to go on this healing journey
Mhm.
and to be able to really explore yourself and really explore your authentic self. And a lot of people aren't brave enough to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you are.
Yeah, but I am.
But I am. That's how I would end that
But
post.
I
But I
am.
am.
But I am.
But I am. Yeah, you
And the
are.
people that come into my world are too.
And boom, right after that line, that one.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
play this back and write it down for a post. Yeah, it's
I
so
will. I'll be
true.
like,
It's
yeah,
so true.
so true.
'Cause
Like
I feel
I trust people that aren't afraid to look at their shit pretty much
hmm
because they're like, I don't need that anymore. I'm ready to be bolder, braver, shinier.
shinier. Ooh, does that feel edgy for you?
It does a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Love that.
Yeah,
Amazing. Okay, well, I can't wait to see this post.
so cool. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Of
I'm
course.
like the whole way through that. I'm like, oh, this is very vulnerable to be putting out there, but it's all good. We're going with
It's
it.
so landing with so many people. I know that for a fact. Hashtag
Yeah,
facts, facts,
yeah,
facts. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. I'm so grateful and I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everyone to like feel your level of not giving a fuck,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Because no
And
matter what, like no matter what it's happening,
oh, it's
like
happening and we don't have control
happening.
over it. And like
Hmm.
I'm taking my coach hat off right now. I can totally relate to that, right? Relating is not coaching, just everyone listening. Because I live in a small town too. And
Hmm.
people follow me in my town. Like there's a lot of people that follow me that like live locally to me. And I'm posting my income and I'm posting this edgy shit and I'm posting all these things that they probably don't even understand. They probably don't even understand what I do. Or I say that, they don't get it. And do I care what they think about me? This very small population of people that's like locally to me. And like, if you see me online and you see me in person, I'm the same fucking person. So it's not like I'm acting different when they meet me in person. You know what I mean? I'm the same person. So when I see people at the coffee shop or at the grocery store, this, there, and that, and I'm like, they're like, oh, I just saw your post. I'm like, awesome. Like, I celebrate that. And I'm like, do I care what they think about me? Because if I cared what they thought about me and it dimmed my light and it dimmed my voice, I wouldn't be helping the hundreds and thousands of people that I'm helping. I just wouldn't be, you know?
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
greater impact around it. Because if
totally.
you had dulled your shine, I would never have met you, and then I
Mm,
would never have created this beautiful. Like the impact is so huge.
it's
Like
the same
it's
for you.
so Yeah. Yeah.
And the
It's
same for you
amazing.
listening, who is like wanting to step into this and really own it and take the risk and dive in. I would love for you to, I know it's like so late. I got to put Ashley to sleep. So
That is,
can you just, what's your message to someone that's like, oh, I'm afraid to invest, or I'm afraid I won't have the time. They feel afraid to really go all in on their purpose and their mission and investing in QCA. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to just like drop into their body and just really do some self like discovery of like, is this really for me? Is it not? But like you said before, following the nudges, like we said this before we jumped on, just following the little nudges, the
Whispers.
little pulls, like there was nothing that really said to me, oh, like listen to this podcast. It wasn't like popping up and saying, oh, like listen to me. But there was something inside of me that was like, oh, what is that? I need to go listen to that. But it was like you said, like that little whisper. And then I was like, oh, application call. Am I not? Am I? Okay, yeah, I am. Let's go. Like it was just taking those small little steps and just doing it and exploring it and then going, yeah, radio, I'm doing it and just owning it and going all in. But you're never ever going to know if you're not listening to the whispers. Like if you're not listening to those little nudges with anything in life. And QCA was that missing puzzle piece for me. I love doing jigsaws and I love being able to work things and fit things into place. And the structure and the confidence is what QCA gave me, along with so much, like so many beautiful friendships and connections that I'll forever lean on. But the missing, like it really propelled my business into what is fast becoming a six-figure business. And it would have always got there, but it just would have taken longer. Whereas QCA had everything I needed. It had the business end, it had the fundamentals of the skills, it had like the templates, it had the support was massive, like the support from you and Jenna. There was multiple times I lent on Jenna throughout peer coaching when I needed extra like therapist support and help like different like determine what is coaching, what is therapy, where do I sort of go from there. And you just never look back. Like you'll never
Yeah.
ever look back. You'll never get to the end of QCA and be like, I'm so glad I didn't do that. You
Mm,
go, oh my God, like even the personal transformation that you go through is unreal. And it's intense while you're doing it, but it's
yes.
a good intense. It's
Yeah.
like when you're working out and you're like, I'm doing reformer at the moment and it's like
Yes.
that burn and you're like, oh my God, it's hurting so much. It's burning, it's burning. But when you get to the other side of it, you're like, oh, it feels so good.
Feels so good. I love that analogy. And you're like that person, like you're that person that everyone will look at and be like, if Ashley can do it with 4 kids and running a business and being a wife, I can do it with a husband that travels a lot.
Hmm.
It's like at the gym when I see like older women like crushing it, and I'm like, fuck, I got to keep up with them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so thank
Yeah.
you for like being such an amazing example of what's possible when you fully go all in and you fully commit. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited for you. I'm so honored to be part of your journey, like truly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it all together and just it was amazing, so good. And that application call really done it for me because I was like, you were just so humble, just like we're talking now. And I'm like, oh, it was so, so good. Every little piece was just so beautiful and so aligned. And
Thank you.
like you said, I probably don't give myself enough credit in the fact of like, if I can do it, anyone really can do it
Really,
because
like truly.
like really like there's no excuses like I when a couple of peer clients were like okay I can't get on here and I'm like mate like I'm getting up at this time in the morning and I'm doing this like come on like step up to the
Right. Step
plate.
up, everybody. Get on my
Yeah.
level.
But it is
So
true.
good.
It's like, yeah, the 4 kids, just don't let anything get in your way. You can always find a way. And there were sometimes I had to get my mom to look after my kids. It's just like, you just do it. You say yes
Make
and
it
figure
work.
out the how later.
Boom. So
Yeah.
How can women that are listening that want to join your work and work with you, how can they get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so I hang out mostly on Instagram at Inner You by Ash, and you have my links in the show notes as well.
Yes.
So you can head over there and you'll be able to stay up to date with what I'm up to. That'll also give you the link to the collective, which is a 12-week program. It's exclusive for mamas. It is amazing. There's so much juiciness in there. It will be an evergreen program, but at the
Oh,
moment it's been live recorded, so it's really, really
love it.
cool. I've also got the podcast as well. So Inner You by Ash, and you'll find it on Apple and Spotify. But basically all of my links, my hub is on Instagram.
Love it. Okay, everyone, go find Ashley, work with her. Mamas, get on in there. So grateful. And thank you so much for being here. So, so much.
Thank you for having me, Ash.
Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.